Chapter 5. Teach Your Children Well. From the perspective of Jacques in the year 1786. Quote by Marcus Tullius Cicero. A man's own manner and character is what most become him. The carriage rolled past my beloved equestrian fountain, and I was finally home. I'd been in Versailles for 7 mentally taxing days, debating, reading, and negotiating in smoke-filled rooms and the Parliament. I'd accomplished nothing more than gaining first-hand knowledge of the growing dissent permeating the citizens of Paris and my peers. The new finance minister was imposing additional taxes on the people, and the national recession was looming. The half-starved general populace of Paris hated Madame Deficit, their nickname for the queen consort, so the populace was ripe with unrest. Parliament was a menagerie of new faces saturated with scowls, pessimism, and anger. They shouted and proposed unfounded radical ideas like abrogating the aristocracy, providing free food, eliminating taxes, and even abolishing the monarchy. This new crowd concerned and drained me. All I wanted was to hug my wife and boys, get out of my traveling clothes, eat dinner, and turn in early. I walked into the atrium. "Bonjour, I'm home," hoping to see Geneviève hurry around the corner and hug me. On the contrary, Nonaire walked in. "Marquis, you're back. Madame wishes to speak with you in the parlor as soon as possible." She raised her eyebrows and took my cape. "She does?" I rubbed life back into my eyes. "In the parlor, but why?" Geneviève must be upset. "She'll explain," she nodded in the parlor's direction. "In any case, I suggest you hurry." "She says I'm to hurry. Is she upset? What's going on?" "There was an incident. The boys." Nonaire scrunched her face. "You'll see." And she walked off with my cape. I took a deep breath and headed to the parlor. The boys. Tonight of all nights. Geneviève stood, her white knuckles grasping the pianoforte's fallboard, furrowed brows, eyes piercing. "So," she pointed a shaking finger at me, "you're finally home. Do you have any idea what those boys of yours did today?" A notable tremor tainted her last words. I frowned and moved closer to her. "No, mi amor, I just arrived and came straight here as you requested." "Then you're not aware. They might have killed or maimed themselves today." A small vein pulsed in her smooth white neck. "Your sons were playing with casks of gunpowder and flames. On those boats," she shouted in progressively louder bursts. "They made cannons. Cannons," throwing her arms in the air. "The kind that blow things up. They were using real gunpowder and were shooting corks at our swans and geese while those rowdy rivermen applauded them." "Cannons? Where did they get cannons?" "They made them. They took bamboo stalks from my oriental garden and made them into cannons." She stabbed a finger in the general direction of her garden. "And then stuffed them with gunpowder and corks and blasted at our birds." She spun back, holding 2 balled fists upward. In my mind's eye, I visualized the scene. The boys manning their bateaux, blasting away at ducks and geese with homespun cannons in front of an audience of howling longshoremen, birds being pelted with wine corks. It was one of those hilarious yet untimely visuals that produced an unintended smirk. Geneviève's face turned crimson as she planted her hands on her hips. "Jacques, how dare you smile at a time like this? It was serious. Using casks of gunpowder and burning wicks on rocking boats to scare innocent birds. It was a certain recipe for disaster." Tears flooded her eyes. "Sweetheart, I'm sorry, but it's just like those two." I rubbed my eyes again. "You're correct. In the wrong hands, it might have been dangerous. But you know we've made sure to train them to respect all aspects of guns. I admit they place themselves at risk." I shrugged. My throat swelled beneath my collar. "And it was foolish to shoot at the birds. But they're inquisitive boys. They're bound to push boundaries." I stuffed a finger between my collar and Adam's apple. "That's what boys do." "Boundaries? Push boundaries? Is that all they did? That's easy for you to say, but I won't accept it. If I'd grown up hunting and blowing things up in the military, I might feel differently. But I didn't. And such things frighten me." She gasped as tears rolled down her crimson cheeks. "Yes," she crossed her arms. "We fostered inquisitive and independent spirits, but they must be aware of limits. They're our responsibility, and although you disagree, that was foolhardy and dangerous." I was tired, my body sore from traveling. I needed time to digest the situation. I slumped and stared at the floor. "Darling, you're right. I'm inclined to agree, but they'll push limits whether we like it or not. It's how boys mature into young men." I swiveled my aching back, rubbed my temples, and then looked into her eyes. "We've open lines of communication with our sons. I'll talk to them and explain they need to look at things through 2 sets of eyes, theirs and ours. They have concerns about whether we'd agree with their actions. They need to let us know before they act. Can you agree to that?" I understood that this was all new to her. I cleared my throat and rubbed my neck. And I should have told them sooner. I need time. I didn't grow up with brothers. Can't you see? They need to be more careful. Yes, I see. I placed my arms around and hugged her. But that's why we're investing in their training and education. This world needs men with good morals and sharp minds, and yes, willing to take chances if necessary. We can help them develop good morals and educate their minds, but we must let them develop their own personalities, including the confidence to experiment and take risks, even if they seem foolish to us. I studied her beautiful face, her reddened cheeks, teary eyes, and pursed lips. She melted me. I don't know. I just don't know. She studied me, her eyes softened. What am I to do with these males that God's placed under my care? She turned, regained her composure, and started walking toward the dining room. Please, she stopped and looked back at me. Inform your rascal sons they'd better not be late for dinner. I went to our bedroom, splashed water on my face, and poured a snifter of cognac. I sat by the fireplace and sorted my thoughts. I smiled. In less than 20 minutes, my world had taken on renewed meaning, from angry men and national dissent to an amazing wife and naughty sons. I was a blessed man. I swallowed a big gulp from the snifter and went to see the boys. I knocked on Geoffroy's bedroom door. Geoffroy, meet me in Guillaume's room now. I entered Guillaume's room. He was sitting at his desk, making a sketch of some sort. Geoffroy stepped in, chin high, standing full height with a noticeably pinched mouth. I sat on Guillaume's bed. Boys, please, come sit. Guillaume walked over and flopped next to me, but Geoffroy stood glaring. Geoffroy, Guillaume, today you overstepped your bounds. Do you understand why? Geoffroy stamped his foot. No, I don't know why. You've trained us on how to use gunpowder, and the rivermen have trained us how to sail. Is doing what we've been trained to do overstepping our bounds? He clenched his hand, pounding his chest, looking the part of a seasoned barrister. What's Mare so concerned about? Does she know anything about sailing? Does she know anything about guns? No. She's a girl and just wants to spoil things. She cares more about those stupid birds and bamboo stalks than us. Geoffroy, stop. I'll not tolerate an outburst like that. Careful, or I'll take you over my knee. I tensed, my muscles quivering. I settled myself with a deep breath. Mare loves you two, more than you'll ever understand. You've no idea how fortunate we are to have her. She'd never wish to spoil anything for you, and she knows more than you and I combined. So if you don't want further punishment, you'll apologize to me. Understood? Geoffroy's ears turned red as he grimaced. I'm sorry, Père. His eyes teared. I do love Mare, and I know she loves us. But we didn't mean to do anything bad. That's better. I hugged him. I understand, and you'll tell her the same. Now to the matter at hand. As you said, you've been trained, well trained. But Mare's concern was that you created a situation where someone might have been hurt. It's what's called risk. Using gunpowder and flames on rocking bateaux is risky. Can you agree? Oui, Père, said Guillaume, his huge hazel eyes blinking. And you, Geoffroy, do you also agree? Oui, he whispered, clenching his hands into fists, but then letting go. I guess so. Good. What we expect is that when you're considering something you know to have risk, you'll inform us so we can agree upon proper oversight. We understand there's a judgment to be made, but if there's a question whether to tell or not, it's best to tell. Geoffroy shoved his hands into his pockets and stared at his feet. I understand, Père, he winced, and I'll apologize. But we were so excited about our cannons that we just didn't think she'd mind so much. We've shot guns before, and the birds weren't hurt. We just scared them a bit. I know, but never assume that she isn't interested in what you're doing, especially if there's even a small chance someone might be harmed. Your apology will show her you regret not telling her and understand her concern. I followed them into the dining room, where Geneviève waited. Mère, we apologize. We should have told you about our cannons. Geneviève sighed, bent to a knee, and opened her arms. Geoffroy ran and threw himself into them. Me too, Mère, Guillaume said as he wedged his way into her grasp. My dear boys, I understand. She pulled them into her bosom. Guillaume looked up and stroked her hair. Mère, maybe we can show you how to sail tomorrow. Geneviève cleared her throat and sniffled. Guillaume, what a good idea. I might like that. Maybe even show you how to hoist the sail? Guillaume looked up at her and crinkled his nose. Why, yes, I think I'd like that as well. Geoffroy grinned. And fire the cannons. Would you let us show you? We'll have to see about that. She patted Geoffroy on his backside. Now, go take your seats so we can eat. The next day, I walked to the boathouse with Geneviève and the boys. They showed her their cannons and explained how to load and fire them. My, they're ingenious. How did you ever think of this? And how did you build them? Geneviève lauded. "It was easy, Mère, after we found your bamboo," smiled Guillaume. I watched as the boys showed Geneviève how to load the cannons. I laughed as she lit a touch hole, screamed, and jumped for joy as the cannon kaboomed, sending a cork and shower of sparks into the Charente. In the end, she agreed the boys could fire their cannon from the dock if one of us or the servants was watching. It turned into a wonderful sunny morning. This morning, however, the longshoremen were noticeably absent from the boom and crack of cannon fire.